Hi friends, I'm preparing this video today to summarize very quickly the story A Model Millionaire by Oscar Wilde. This story is revolved around four characters mainly. First one Hui Reskin, second one Laura Merton, and third one Alan Trevor, and fourth one Baronhusberts. Hui is the protagonist of the story. He is an attractive, endearing, well-liked young man. He is popular among both men and women. But when it comes to money, he is a poor man, an unemployed man. His only source of income is that he receives £200 annually from one of his aunts. Yes, it is true that financially he is not sound, but he is very rich in terms of compassion and generosity. He is very compassionate and generous to people around him. He is a perfect example of a good Samaritan. He understands others' feelings and emotions and acts accordingly. But no matter what he has, in the absence of money, he remains as an unsuccessful person in his life. Oscar Wilde says, romance is the privilege of the rich, not the profession of unemployed. Alas, unfortunately, our poor guy, Hui, has fallen in love with a very beautiful woman in London. Her name is Laura Merton. They love each other. But Laura's father, Colonel Martin, he's a rich man. Though he likes Huey very much, he doesn't like Huey to marry his daughter because of his poor financial outlook. Colonel Martin tells Huey to get a decent job and to have an earning of £10,000 in order to marry his daughter. Poor Huey is in a dilemma now. From where he is going to get £10,000 and who is going to give him a job. One day, Hui visits Alan Trevor, his friend, who is an artist. When Hui arrives, he sees Alan is working on a model. His model is a beggar. Hui feels very bad for this old beggar because he comes to know from Alan that this old beggar model gets only 1 shilling per hour, which is not sufficient for him to survive. On the other hand, Alan gets £2,000 by selling his pictures. Hui thinks the beggar model deserves more than a shilling, but unfortunately, he doesn't get anything more than that. When Alan goes out of the studio for some time, Hui hands the old beggar a sovereign. That sovereign is the most extraordinary denomination coin that he has in his pocket. Now he has nothing with him because he has given the beggar what all he has with him. Upon receiving the coin, the old beggar looks very delighted and thanks Hui for his great mind. Later at night, Hui meets Alan at a cafe nearby. And from Alan, Hui comes to know that the old beggar has asked many questions about Hui. Alan says to Hui that he has told the old beggar everything about Hui, Laura Merton, and her father's demand. Hui is very upset and angry right now because he comes to know that his friend has disclosed everything about him to that old beggar. To his surprise, Alan reveals that the old beggar who was in his studio is Baronhusberts. He is not a beggar. He is one of the richest people in Europe. In addition to that, he is a frequent purchaser of Alan's paintings, and he has even given money to Alan to consider him as a beggar model. Upon hearing all these things, Hui feels guilty of giving a millionaire a penny. But the next day, a representative of Baronhusberts comes to the house of Hughie to deliver an envelope. The envelope contains a job offering letter and a check of £10,000. Baronhusberts has offered him a decent job and given him a check of £10,000 as his wedding gift. Finally, Hughie and Laura marry. So, what is the moral of the story? It says that we need to be compassionate. Compassion is not the sympathy, but the empathy. You identify yourself in place of others and do everything what you can do for them. That is empathy. It's not the mere feeling of pity for the suffering of others. Rather, it's an identification that the other is you and you are the other.